In this week's video, we get barn cats. Our dinner routine becomes 5% less chaotic. We take a pasture walk, and I answer a viewer's comment regarding sheep farming resources. Let's get started.
A couple weeks ago, I placed an application with our local SPCA for some barn cats, and yesterday afternoon they gave me a call to let me know that they have cats for us. So I am here to meet them and bring them home.
The cats are home. They are in the carriers you can see in the background. Now I'm setting up what will be their new home for the next 2 weeks. It's important to reset their internal GPS so that when they are released, they don't try to find their way back to their old home. It may seem mean, but by keeping them in the dog crates for 2 weeks, they will become familiar with my scent and our barn routine, as well as learn when their breakfast and dinners are served. So when I open the doors to release them, the chances are higher that they will return to the barn. I've named the orange cat Thomas. We think he's around 1 to 2 years old. And the other cat I haven't seen yet, but we've been told that he's all black. I'm thinking to name him either George or Henry, but I feel like I need to see him first before settling on a name. And we think that he's perhaps 3 to 4 years old. Both cats came from the same location, and it sounds like it may have been a hoarding situation, so hopefully they can settle in and feel safe here at the farm, where we will take excellent care of them. I can already see the comments coming, but you may be thinking, what makes a cat a barn cat? The simplest way to think of it is just a cat that would not be suitable for life as a pet or an indoor cat. And because these cats are used to fending for themselves, the hope is that they will help us control the mouse population on the farm and keep the birds out of the barns. Hi, Thomas. Thomas, how are you doing? Hey, you pretty boy. Hey, you pretty boy. Thomas? Hi, buddy. Hi. What do you think about here? Turkey pate? You want to try some turkey? Can you try some turkey pate? What do you think, Thomas? Hi, Thomas. Hi. Ready? This is rubber. Buddy. Thomas, set it up there. So we need a mess in here already. That's okay. We can take this out. Okay. We made kind of a mess. Okay. Let me clean that out. Do you want this here? You take this one and clean this up. And I'll come back to clean the rest of that up later. Yeah. Okay. Take these out of here. Thomas. You see outside? What do you think about outside? Do you want to go outside? Yeah? You want to go outside? Yeah. You're like, what is this? So I increased the amount of pasture that the sheep had access to yesterday afternoon. Pasture used to end at about here. Now it goes back here, so it's kind of doubled in size. I'm just walking back here right now. I've just brought the sheep in for dinner, so they're in for the night. I'm walking back here just to gauge the amount of pasture I have left, figure out if I can get one more day out here or if it's time to move these fences. Right now the grass is growing back in. It's growing back in pretty quickly, which is really great, you know, being that it's the start of the season, but it's not entirely here. So I want to be really careful that we don't overgraze what's available right now, so that we potentially inhibit, or so that we don't inhibit future grass growth for the rest of the season. What I'm seeing right now is quite a bit of grass. You know, it's sparse. We've got quite a bit. So you can see here, this is pretty tall. This is probably 6, maybe 8 inches in height here. I want them to graze it down to about 4 inches. So, and that's what I see all back here, which is the back of the pasture that they now have access to. Whereas the front of the pasture, I can see that they've grazed it down to about 4 inches, and in some areas a little lower than that. But actually, looks like from where I'm standing right here, all of this grass here, all of this here, everything I'm standing here is in this higher kind of category. This all looks really high here. I'm seeing quite a bit. All of this brown grass from last year, hopefully that goes away. Probably will as we graze and fertilize the soil. This here, I think this might be bird's foot trefoil. I looked the picture up online, it kind of looks like that, which apparently sheep love, so that's exciting. We have a lot of whatever that is. And then yeah, just a lot of other different kinds of plant species. I see a lot of them back here. So I think I can probably get one more day of grazing on this pasture, and then I'll probably move them. So that's great. So that'll have been 2 days out here. Oh, let me show you this. This is horrible. This here, I think this is, oh, it got me. I think that this is multiflora rose. This is everywhere. So I'm gonna have to get out here with some clippers, clip these down, probably get, I don't know. I hate the idea of using a herbicide out here. But I definitely want to keep this invasive plant from taking over, especially now that I see it growing back. Last year I did a ton of cutting down of these, so definitely want to take down any more that I see. So probably get out here soon with some clippers
Hey Oliver, how's it going, buddy? Going good? Yeah? All right. Yeah, so I'm seeing a lot of grass that is still pretty high. So I think we've got at least another day of grazing out here. And then I don't know. I might push them back to the fence line past these trees here. This area back here, they had grazed on the other side of the fence I have up. And that's grown back really nicely. So taking our time getting through here, but I think that'll be good. And the other side of this fence line looks really nice and lush. So I think the sheep are gonna be really happy when they get back here. Oh look, do you see the geese? The goose? Last year we had 2 of them. I hope he didn't lose his mate if this is the same one. That would be really sad. The pond's really nice and full right now. It's a good time to be a goose, I guess. Oh, anyway, I gotta get going. So, thanks for joining me on this pasture walk.
I opened the pasture into that new lush green growth on the side of the pond this morning, and the sheep are loving it. I was a little worried about how they would behave around the pond, so I did put fencing around it, but only a few feet from the water's edge. I'm thinking that in a day or two I might remove that section of fencing and plan to monitor them frequently all day to make sure they don't do anything stupid. There's a saying that sheep are always looking for ways to die, and I'm not wanting to prove that right. There was a comment left on my previous video regarding the best resources I've come across on sheep farming. So I wanted to take a minute to address this question and share some of the resources that got me from living and working in New York City to starting a sheep farm in the Finger Lakes. The first one is actual shepherds. The first shepherds I spoke with I met at fiber festivals such as Rhinebeck, Maryland, and a few of the smaller local ones near where I lived in Brooklyn. My local yarn store, Brooklyn General, would do farm day once or twice a year, and they would invite farmers to bring their yarn and sell at the shop for the day. I looked forward to this each year and would come with a list of questions to ask each shepherd. I was often starstruck by the shepherds, and so I typically just stood by my husband as he walked through my list of questions, and I took notes. Maryland and Rhinebeck were great too. Probably early on, I got the most out of sitting and listening to the breed talks and the beginning shepherding Q&A sessions. But later on, I spent a lot of time in the barns interacting with the sheep and chatting with the shepherds, and that became invaluable. It was at Maryland Sheep and Wool that I made the decision to start with border lesters. I had made friends with one of the sheep, and she would cry anytime I tried to leave her pen. So I probably stood there for about 45 minutes just petting her and falling deeply and deeply in love with border lesters. And for me, this was a huge turning point. And without being able to see and interact with several different sheep breeds, I wouldn't have known what breed was best suited for what I wanted to do. And so these events made it possible for me to buy breed-specific fiber. So I was able to experiment a bit with the different fiber types to determine what I liked, and also equally important, what I didn't like. I should also point out that I had been attending fiber festivals for several years before I even realized that I wanted to farm. So it wasn't something that I started doing specifically because I wanted to farm. I had been knitting for about 20 years at this point, so fiber has really been a lifelong passion of mine, and farming was something that I just kind of naturally fell into. It was not like a spur of the moment decision. It was a slow realization over the course of several years. We also got really lucky with the community where we live. When we were first looking at buying houses, there had happened to be a pop-up yarn shop in Ithaca, all local farm fiber, that we happened to stop by. And when I mentioned that I was interested in border Leicesters, the two shepherds at the register gave me the email of a local breeder. After we closed on our house, I emailed the breeder and asked if it was possible for me to stop by her farm to meet her sheep. Hi girls. And she surprised me in her response by describing my house and asking if we were the new owners. I said yes, and she again surprised me by saying hi. I live right around the corner, stop by any time. So we did, and she has been such a great mentor in so many different ways, and I am so appreciative to them for everything that they have helped us with, especially all of the girls, especially all of the lessons that Noreen has given me on sheep handling and general farm advice. And hi Luna. And when we got a tractor, her husband Phil gave me lessons and quickly came over the one time about a week later when I was convinced I had broken the tractor. And in my last video, you can see Noreen lead her 5 sheep. Which are these girls over here? Yeah, you girls used to live in Noreen's, huh? And now you live here. Yeah. You can see Noreen lead her 5 ewes out of the trailer and into our barn. Yes, good potty, girls, good potty. Another one of our neighbors is a retired dairy farmer and pasture specialist for the Cornell extension. I don't have any snacks right now. I don't have any snacks right now. I know, it's so mean. I know, it's so mean I don't have any snacks. Yeah, it's very cruel, huh? I usually have snacks, don't I? Is that right, Rosie? I usually have snacks. That's right, Wendy. I usually have snacks. And we're not doing snacks today because you have to stay inside and not eat today because you're being shorn tomorrow. So I thought it would be mean if I brought snacks out for everybody else but you girls. So no one's getting snacks today. No one gets snacks till shearing is done. I know. I know. I know. That's so mean. It's gonna be okay though. Right, Luna? It's gonna be okay. All right, back to answering the question. One of our neighbors is a retired dairy farmer and a pasture specialist for Cornell Extension. And he's given us several books and pamphlets on pasture plants and management and pasture management guides. He's our closest neighbor, just right across the street, and I am so grateful that we have such a friendly relationship. Webinars. A lot of universities have monthly webinars that are free to join. Hi. Hi, Louise. Yeah, hi, Louise. Hi, sweetheart. A lot of universities have webinars that are free to join. These are typically run through the state extension program, and they cover a variety of rotating topics. The webinars that I found the most helpful came from, I think, Alabama, Cornell, Idaho, Maryland, Penn State, Wisconsin, Madison. Doesn't really matter, there's a ton of them. I looked some of those up, and it doesn't look like all of those extensions are still offering monthly webinars, but it seems like it's a rotating thing. So maybe not every year, maybe every other year. But several other extensions are offering webinars that I do not recall watching back when I was watching like one of these every night. So I'm gonna link some of those calendars in the comments. Another program that Will and I found exceptionally helpful was the Cornell Small Farms program. This was amazing. These are online classes taught by Cornell extension specialists on various topics. We took Farming 101, Markets and Profits, Sheep 101, Pasture Management, and Fruit Tree Production. These courses were paid for, but they have a sliding scale, and it's relatively affordable, considering, I don't even want to say relatively affordable, I would say extremely affordable, considering the amount of information that these instructors are sharing. And you retain access to the webinars and the workbooks and all the resources that they, Miss Louise, Louise. I'm sorry, Luna, not Louise. I'm sorry, Louise. Yes, run away. I'm so sorry. I'm in trouble now, aren't I? Yeah, Louise, I'm so sorry, baby girl. Yes, you were being good. You were right next to me. It was Luna. Luna. All right. What was I saying? Cornell Small Farms. Yeah, fabulous resource. You maintain access to everything in the class for the lifetime. And you can go back, watch the webinars. You can email the instructors and get added back to the live webinars, so you can basically retake the class again for free. So yeah, fabulous. And then books. There were some really good books that I read. I'll go ahead and make a list of them down in the comments because I can't recall the names of all of them off the top of my head. I know there was like Storey's Guide to Sheep, I think the Independent Farmstead, Fleece and Fiber, Sourcebook, several more. I'll list those down below. And I'll also include a list of the resources that our neighbor, the Pasture extension specialist, gave us, because those have just been full of great advice. And I hope that this was helpful. And I'm happy to answer any follow-up questions that you may have. And I'd love to hear from any of you if you all are interested in doing something similar, because it'd be nice to grow a little community on here. Bye.